My dad was a United States Marine. So as a kid, I grew up on military bases. I remember I was about 13 years old. My family moved again, and I was the new kid at my middle school. So every morning I would walk past the bleachers on my way to school where a group of popular mean girls gathered every morning. They called themselves the Touch of Class crew. So one morning I'm walking past the bleachers on the way to class, and I hear one of the girls yell out, "Ooh, look at her." I didn't know what to do. I just hung my head and kept walking and pretended like nothing happened. But the bullying got worse. In between classes, they would bump into me in the hallways, try to trip me, constantly say mean things, try to turn other people against me for no reason at all. I was on a downward emotional spiral, and I felt powerless to change it. I felt completely embarrassed, humiliated, and worthless. The only thing I knew to do was just go home every night after school and cry. This went on for months. And then something happened. I went to see a movie called The Karate Kid in 1986. And that movie inspired me to join a local karate class. That is when I began my training to become a champion. I trained 4 times a week in a dojo. Week after week, my confidence was building. I got stronger mentally and I got stronger physically. I registered for my very first karate tournament. It was my time in the ring and I was ready. I won a first place trophy that day. I could not believe it. I was so excited and so happy. I felt a sense of accomplishment. In just 16 months, I earned my black belt in record time. I went on to win many other first place trophies, and I won Junior Martial Artist of the Year in my region. That year, I went from being a scared little girl who was bullied and humiliated to being voted the most popular in my middle school in the yearbook. That pivotal moment changed my life. That's because I became a high achiever. And I vowed to make others feel fully accepted and loved for who they are and feel included. I spent the next 2 decades trying to recapture that feeling of confidence that I had as a young girl in karate class. I set out to prove that I am worthy and I am smart enough by being an overachiever, getting good grades. I overcame being a single divorced mom, barely getting by making $9 an hour, to generating $9 million in sales in 1 year. I won sales awards. I made 6 figures, getting on TV commercials, inventing a product and getting on the TV show Shark Tank, Fox Business Network, NBC Daytime, the Los Angeles Times newspaper, being on the cover of a couple of magazines, and building a successful business. You know, I'm grateful for all of that. And it definitely served its purpose. But 3 years ago, I kept hitting a ceiling in my consulting business. And to be honest, it nearly broke up my marriage. My messaging was too generic. I sounded like a carbon copy of other coaches. I was blending in. My marketing was inconsistent at times, so therefore my business revenue was inconsistent at times. My Facebook ads and my content marketing seemed to be attracting the wrong people. Why was I holding back Why was my marketing not converting clients? I genuinely cared. I just wanted to help more people. This is why. It's because I couldn't fully be my best self or reach my highest potential because a part of me was still that scared little girl who feared rejection and never felt good enough, no matter what I accomplished. It was time for me to break free from all of that. I went back for that scared little girl. I put God first. I took personal responsibility for my results. I healed internally. I reclaimed my true identity, and today I feel worthy no matter what happens. When I bravely began to speak my truth in my messaging and share more of who I really am and amplified my visibility, that is when I began attracting premium clients and my business sales nearly tripled. I'm incredibly grateful and humbled that I've been able to help my clients do the same. On my life path, I've had to reinvent myself and reinvent my business several times. So in closing, I want to share a message with you, and it's threefold. Number one, I had to shift from being a victim to being a victor in my life. And let me just say, it took several years beyond that for it to fully integrate. If you have a child that's being bullied, or you know a child that's being bullied, I encourage you to get them in a karate class and or help them find a good mentor to increase their confidence. You see, the bullies didn't change. I changed. I stopped carrying around the victim energy. And when I did that, they left me alone. I haven't been bullied since. And the other thing is, victim thinking also kept me broke and struggling around money in my life early on. That had to go too. All right, number two, the problems that we face as high achieving entrepreneurs, coaches, course creators, and even the problems that we're facing in our personal life, they must be solved externally and internally for lasting change to occur. It's both and. You see, my external problem, that problem I kept bumping up against as a consultant, number one, my sales process wasn't 100% dialed in. There were some parts of my marketing and sales process that were not effective, that needed to be dialed in. The second thing was my messaging was too generic. I sounded like a carbon copy of other entrepreneurs. I was blending in. And honestly, it was time for me to stop being a carbon copy entrepreneur and instead become an emerging thought leader entrepreneur and let the world see more of who I really am. And that takes courage to do that, especially if you've had a wounding experience in your life early on and you have a fear of rejection or a feeling of worthlessness, a pattern of that. That stuff gets linked up in childhood. The internal problem that I had was subconsciously not feeling good enough. That came from a childhood wound, even though I felt like, hey, I think I've worked on that part of myself. But it was much deeper. The other internal problem was fear and wound patterns. It showed up in my life as holding back from being visible, So inconsistency with my marketing. Subconsciously, that was a way for me to avoid rejection from others. That old fear. It also showed up as perfectionism. It showed up as fear of being found out that I'm a fraud or imposter syndrome. All of that was subconscious programming that got linked up very early in my life in childhood. It happens to a lot of us high achieving entrepreneurs. I was also trying and forcing and pushing way too much. And sometimes that can be off-putting for others if we don't have a balance and come from a place of purpose and passion and ease and grace. Here's what I've learned. The problems that are showing up for high achieving entrepreneurs, if we don't deal with it and heal it at the root cause, externally and internally both, we get the same old problems reoccurring. They just keep showing back up again and again, and it just keeps getting worse and worse until we're forced to deal with it and heal it. That's why it's important. You see, in our childhood, very early on in our life, we link up core wounds and wound patterns. And while those are good, there's a purpose behind it because it actually causes us to develop and reach mastery level at very specific gifts, skills, and talents. That's what we're really here and called to share with the world. But it can also hold us back and self-sabotage our efforts. It's important to know what those are and how to transform those. And the third thing that I want to share with you today is my success has come from several different things, but the ones that I want to mention right now is that it came from my faith in God. It came from perseverance, and it came from having good mentors around me. Every high-achieving entrepreneur, coach, course creator, we all need a good Mr. Miyagi in our life to help us to navigate the mental, the spiritual, and the tangible strategies that are needed to help us to go beyond where we've gone before, to break through those glass ceilings to that next level. Money is the byproduct. It's really about fulfilling the God-given calling and assignment that we have on our life. I'd like to be that mentor for you. So if this is the first time that we're meeting, and I'd like to just share a little more about who I am. I'm April Yvette. I'm an award-winning sales strategist. I'm an award-winning inventor. I'm a storyteller, and I'm also an inspirational keynote speaker and a reinvention specialist. It is so nice to connect with you. Thank you for watching my story. If you are a high-achieving, faith-based coach, course creator, or entrepreneur, and you know that there's something more, something big that God has called you to do in your life, if you have a high-end offer and you're driven by purpose to help people solve their problems, I want to invite you to join my community that I've put together. It's a free Facebook group. It's for high-achieving entrepreneurs, course creators, coaches, just like us. Many of us have reached 6 and 7 figures in sales. Many of us are at a crossroads of change, and we're seeking to reinvent ourselves or reinvent our business because what we used to do is no longer working, or maybe you just had an epiphany to change because something just felt out of alignment. If any of that resonates with you, I want to invite you to join my group. Join this community. I'd love to be that mentor for you. Somewhere below this video, around this video, there's a link. You can click the link right now. Go there now, click the link, and join the group. I cannot wait to meet you, to get to know you, and to see you on the other side. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Bye.